The new moon in Taurus is happening on May 16th, and it's a time of powerful new beginnings, with the sun and moon coming together in a conjunction at 25 degrees, 57 minutes. Now, this new moon in Taurus really brings a powerful opportunity to rebuild ourselves from the inside out, specifically to rebuild our self-worth. And interestingly, this begins with the foundation, with the place within ourselves where we either feel safe and at home or we don't. Because it's from there that everything else ripples outward. Our self-worth has to begin within for it to show up in our environment, our relationships, so that we can actually find our place in the world. So let's talk about Taurus energy for a minute, because understanding the Taurus archetype really helps us understand what's opening up for us right now. Taurus seeks stability. It really wants comfort, security, and peace above all else. But it does so through self-reliance and reliance of itself, on itself. So this new moon is asking us, what actually makes us feel valuable and worthy? And can we rely on ourselves to feel that way? You know, true self-worth is internal. It does not come from our accomplishments or our possessions or external validation. True self-worth is unconditional. It's not based on anything on the outside. So it's not based on achievements, how much money we have in the bank, or how other people see us. And honestly, building this kind of self-worth isn't easy. It sometimes does not come natural. I mean, we have to learn to practice self-compassion, healthy boundaries, catching negative self-talk when it comes up instead of automatically believing it, and making choices that really genuinely align with our values and what's most important to us. So this new moon, it feels like this opening, like a reset around how we relate to ourselves and what we believe we truly deserve. So Uranus recently moved into the sign of Gemini on April 25th. And Mercury will be conjunct the sun and moon in Taurus during the new moon. So we have a lot of activation in our minds right now in how we think. This new moon will help us challenge old ways of thinking about ourselves entirely, really. So we may suddenly see ourselves differently or see our life more clearly. We may realize the direction we're heading really no longer aligns with who we're becoming. There's this huge shift happening around our self-identity and how we find security within ourselves. So we're learning that true stability and security does not come from controlling or possessing anything on the outside. It comes from feeling solid within ourselves. So this new moon is inviting us to consciously create a life that feels stable, safe, grounded, and substantial emotionally and mentally, not just materially. And there's a huge difference there because Taurus can sometimes cling to the idea I own, therefore I am. But this new moon is wanting us to shift that narrative toward I am regardless of what I own. And that's where real power begins. It's not in our possessions. It's not in our status. It's not in proving ourselves to others. It's in knowing our value despite anything external, despite anything on the outside. So this energy can bring about healing around insecurity we might have tied to money, tied to our relationships, tied to our possessions, or anything that threatens our survival. It can also bring about healing around inherited values that we got from our family. You know, the values I was taught aren't actually mine. That might be like a realization we have. And that realization can change everything. And Jupiter will be in Cancer, forming a sextile to the sun and moon in Taurus during the new moon, which is really going to ask us to get in touch with what it is we value in our home, particularly our home, our private space. It's activating this need to not only feel at home within ourselves, but also in our actual home. Does our home reflect our values? Is it nurturing, supportive, and a safe place where love and connection can, prosper? So identifying our core values in our most private and intimate areas of life that usually originate in the home is what's going to be happening during this new moon. So values can be deeply personal and unique to each person, but it's really necessary to identify your values in order to foster growth and peace within your private space, your physical dwelling. So the sextile to Jupiter ensures we seek more supportive and emotionally secure sanctuary, the place we call home, that it aligns with our values and who we are becoming. And then with Venus, the ruler of this new moon, nearing the end of its transit through Gemini at 27 degrees, we can expect more easily flowing communication with our families and those we live with or talk to on a daily basis. In fact, we may feel more curious and willing to not only share perspectives, share our own perspective, but also to hear from other people and be open to differing points of view. Venus in Gemini is like a social butterfly, and she needs to connect with others through her mind by talking through things and widening her point of view. So our points of view may feel much more open. So this new moon is also like, it feels like it's very creative. It's activating creativity. There's this courage to begin something new, to express ourselves creatively. And this might be something we've been dreaming about doing for a really long time, but couldn't fully believe that we could do it. This is a new beginning. By, securing our value system in our home, within ourselves, we can birth this creative process that's kind of been in the background. We've been already knowing it's there. We feel ready now. And that's not because, fear is gone. It's because our inner strength is like becoming stronger than our fear. So we might feel stronger than ever to begin whatever this is under this Taurus new moon. And it actually might feel very different than anything we've ever done before. It's like creation is now not about proving ourselves. It's not about what we own. It's about actually participating in something bigger than ourselves. Being in relationship to the creative process itself, relating more to the process rather than the end result, and being of service through what we create to something that benefits more than just ourselves, but benefits the whole, benefits the collective. So what we begin to create now could genuinely become like life-changing over time if we have the courage to stick with it for the long haul. And as long as it's based in our true values. So another piece of this new moon is Mars will be conjunct Chiron in Aries, forming an exact conjunction at 28 degrees, 24 minutes. And this will be bringing up wounds specifically tied to our identity. We might feel misplaced anger or like a lack of empowerment and a real need to reclaim our personal power, like to claim our right to exist. It's time to ask ourselves questions like, where have we been giving our power away? Where do we feel most powerless in our life? Where have we abandoned ourselves? Where have we accepted less than what we deserve? This energy is asking us to stop identifying solely through our wounds or anything outside that feels like it's wounding us. So there's this like victimhood that's coming up right now. So we're needing to change our perspective from where we once felt like a victim, like people were out to get us, because we've outgrown that self-identity. So we're now turning like previous feelings of shame, hurt, and suffering into empowerment. So there's this opportunity to reclaim any parts of ourselves we've been disconnected from. Where we once felt weak, we may now feel much stronger and much more capable. We may now realize we're only victims if we choose to be. We have a choice. So this new moon is like, it's allowing this opportunity to really take our power back with that Mars Chiron conjunction in Aries. So, it's allowing us to take up space, to start claiming our place in the world, to show up fully and unapologetically. And many people may feel more assertive during this time, really like less willing to tolerate being walked all over or being manipulated, less willing to stay silent. And honestly, this is really necessary, but with Chiron and Mars forming this conjunction, with them blending their energy in the sign of Aries, there's also a need to be patient. This can bring about impatience, frustration, reactive anger, feeling angry. This might rise up to the surface. So having patience and being conscious of this is so important. Staying embodied so we don't become destructive or allow others to be destructive toward us. It's like we're becoming stronger without becoming hardened or forceful or aggressive. Taurus teaches us that power does not always need force. Sometimes true power can be calm. It can be steady, intentional. It can also be patient. So remember that patience is so important right now. So there's this real opportunity here to become more grounded and resilient and more deeply connected to ourselves than ever before if we have patience with the process and we're cautious with our reactions, not only to ourselves, but also how, we react to others. So self-compassion and compassion toward others can really be like an antidote to that Aries aggression we may feel at this time. And strangely enough, this energy can also really sharpen intuitive timing. It's like we may instinctively just know when it's time to act, when it's time to speak, when it's time to move, when to trust ourselves and our own instincts, because Taurus energy can be so instinctually felt in the body. So remaining connected to and grounded to our bodies is so important right now. Sometimes our bodies know more than our head. So listening to what our body tells us and responding to its needs. So how we feel is felt in the body. So listen to your feelings at this time. If you feel drained, tired, or you have a lack of energy, or you feel depressed, or any other feeling that doesn't feel good, pay attention to it, because your body is speaking to you and letting you know something needs to change in order for you to feel better. Sometimes this means we have to pay more attention to our health and how we're treating our bodies, but sometimes it means we have to change something, that's been emotionally upsetting us. Maybe it means we need stronger, healthier boundaries with others. We need to clean up our living environment and remove the chaos. So problems with our emotional and physical well-being. We need to change how we treat ourselves, our physical body, our home. We can change how we show up for ourselves, and that changes how we show up for others, and we inevitably start to feel better and more vital. We can handle things and resolve the emotional problems we're having in our lives, sometimes simply by taking better care of ourselves and our bodies. And this Taurus new moon is an opportunity to get to know ourselves better through our body, through our senses. Our sensual side may be more activated, and we may find that our senses are like highly stimulated right now. So physical touch and delicious food and beautiful surroundings may be that much more pleasurable and honestly really healing at this time. So we're all worthy of feeling good and experiencing pleasure and enjoyment in life. Our worthiness begins with how we treat ourselves and our bodies. So ultimately, this new moon is reminding us that healing self-worth starts from within. The way we love, the way we create, the way we allow ourselves to exist in the world comes from self-worth. And this is a new moon this new moon is about becoming solid within ourselves so that our life is no longer built on fear, scarcity, or needing external validation, or just really not feeling good. This new moon wants us to feel good, to be rooted in our self-worth by cultivating unconditional belief in our internal value, despite anything on the outside. And this requires that we build trust within ourselves and prove to ourselves that we are worthy of our own effort. And from that place, everything begins to change. All right, so I think that's all I have for you today. I'll be back soon with another video, and in the meantime, I do offer personal evolutionary astrology readings, so check out my website in the description below. I wish you all a wonderful and transformative week ahead. Take care of yourself, love yourself, nourish yourself. Okay? Take care. Bye.